From our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. The Premier is determined to see the Macquarie Point Stadium built, despite yesterday's scathing report into the controversial project. He's faced a grilling in Parliament as concerns grow over whether it can be delivered at all.
Cost blowouts, overstated benefits and out of place. They're just some of the scathing findings by the Planning Commission's interim analysis into Macquarie Point Stadium, putting the Rockcliffe government in the firing line.
Despite all the concerns raised by this report and previous reports, the Premier insists on ploughing ahead with his foolishness.
They don't listen to the concerns, they just pretend it never happened.
The opposition also critical of how the project has been handled.
How have you stuffed this up so badly, and are Tasmania's AFL teams at risk because of your management of this?
I was the Premier that delivered the team on May the 3rd, and I will continue to do so.
The backlash growing, as is the estimated cost of Mac Point, according to the report.
It is going to be terrible for people's lives because it will make Tasmanians' economic welfare worse.
Though the Premier won't get any more funding from federal Labor if it wins the election.
We've been very clear that our funding is capped at $240 million.
While state Labor backs the stadium,
I did that because I want to see a Tasmanian stadium. I want to see Tasmanian AFL teams.
The party refusing to face the cameras today for questions on how far that support would go. And as the clock ticks down for a key planning milestone to be met by September, Jeremy Rockcliffe has refused to rule out moving special laws as a backup plan to see the stadium through. The Greens say it's reminiscent of the controversial pulp mill development around 2 decades ago, which never went ahead.
Which would be a single piece of legislation that would come to Parliament with a single vote without any other conversation, no public hearings or submissions from the community.
Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
The big question now is, what does this mean for Tasmania's entry into the AFL? It's contingent on the Macquarie Point Stadium being at least 50% complete, and the league isn't budging.
Controversial from day dot. The future of the Macquarie Point Stadium is seeming shakier by the day. Now, less than 3 years out from what should be the Devils' first game, one thing hasn't changed.
No stadium, no team, and that's why we need to get on with the job.
Yesterday's damning Planning Commission report just further ammunition for naysayers in Victoria.
Draw a line in the sand now. Stop it. Go no further.
And while Tasmanian footy fans mull the potential hit to state coffers, the AFL sticks to its guns.
It's really clear the conditional licence is a 23,000-seat roof stadium at Macquarie Point.
Devils management wouldn't be drawn into debate today, but have previously said the club is carrying on under the assumption of a 2028 start. The league isn't jumping to any conclusions yet either.
There's some hurdles there, but we've always known that it wasn't going to be, it is complex and it's difficult.
Unlike the stadium, there is broad support for the team itself, and with 200,000 members already on the books, many say it will be a difficult, if not impossible call for the AFL to strip Tasmania's licence now, particularly with Ninja Stadium in play and a redeveloped UTAS stadium firming as a strong northern base. Even though estimates suggest a best-case scenario 2030 completion date, this from the league boss is at least a promising sign for Devils fans.
At the moment, I see no indications other than 2028 start date.
For the time being, watch this space. Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
Or could the old Mediscare campaign be being revived? This time it's Tasmania's urgent care clinics in the crosshairs. Labor today claiming the scheme could be in jeopardy, while spruiking previously announced extended hours in Launceston and 3 new clinics.
4.5, 5 weeks?
Of course, the election of Peter Dutton poses a risk to this. We've had the Liberal Party say that the urgent care clinics, particularly the additional monies for the additional clinics like the one we opened in Bridgewater, are wasteful spending.
The Liberals, though, have previously also pledged new clinics in Sorell and Burnie. Bridget Archer says her party is 110% committed to them, while labelling Labor's effort a scare campaign. A final report into the University of Tasmania Act has been debated in the Upper House following an inquiry into how the institution was being run. Independent MLC Meg Webb hopes its recommendations will be thoroughly considered by the government and lay a foundation to improve the uni's academic outcomes and long-term viability.
This is a rebuke that we must not seek to avoid or defend against. It's one that I believe we must accept and welcome as an opportunity to play our part in helping this cherished public institution on a genuinely more positive future path.
It comes after the Select Committee looking into the matter heard evidence of leadership and workplace culture issues, among others. More Tasmanians could soon be searched by a metal detector in an effort to reduce fatal incidents caused by knives. A short time ago, legislation passed Tasmania's lower house after a lengthy battle by a Blackmans Bay mother who lost her son far too soon.
Lorraine Ludwig lost her son Reed after he was violently stabbed at a Blackmans Bay service station in 2019. She's been campaigning for tougher knife laws ever since.
It's just one tiny initiative for the children to see that their father's life meant something.
Reed's law aims to strengthen police search powers, including the use of metal wand detectors, and introduce tougher penalties for offenders. Some MPs concerned about its ramifications.
Whether these laws will lead to a reduction in the amount of knife-related violence, and if they do, will the reduction be justified by the price to be paid, which is giving police unchecked power to search us?
The measures are not proportionate to the problem it is trying to solve.
Something needs to be changed.
The shake-up follows numerous visits to Tasmania from advocates Brett and Belinda Beasley, who helped to implement Jack's Law after losing their son in a similar knife attack on the Gold Coast.
They're there to make the community safer. They're non-invasive, they don't hurt anyone, they're quick, they're easy.
A recent trial equipping Tasmania Police with non-invasive wands found 1 in 4 Tasmanians were carrying a dangerous weapon out of 200 people.
The legislation's targeting knives, and the knives are the problem, regardless of who is carrying a knife illegally in our community.
The legislation will still need upper house support before it can be implemented on the beat. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Flying down the right-hand lane, the centre divider is seemingly the only thing that kept this car from a head-on collision on the West Tamar Highway last night. Nobody was injured, but the 55-year-old driver from West Launceston blew more than twice the legal limit and will face court on a drink driving charge. Our state's capital has recorded a modest rise in house prices according to the latest property report by PropTrack, with a 0.38% monthly increase, outpaced only by Sydney and Canberra. Hobart is the second most affordable capital city behind Darwin, with a median home price of $672,000.
I would suggest in the next 6 months, as and when interest rates come down, there's more likely to be an increase in property prices.
The strongest growth recorded in the west and northwest of the state, with 5.55%, while Launceston recorded a rise of just under 1%. An early intervention legal advice program aimed at resolving partner separations and divorces before they reach court is on track to help more than 700 Tasmanians this financial year. Legal Aid's Family Dispute Resolution program offers a supportive environment for parties to discuss parenting, financial and property matters.
It's the most stressful time of your life when you separate, and people just don't know where to go. So, you know, to be able to have them come in, get the legal support. A lot of participants say that this process is less stressful, particularly at that vulnerable time in their life, and it enables us to help them in a supportive way.
The program allows participants to resolve disputes in a low-cost and flexible manner without the added pressure and expense of going to court. A cafe in Hobart has reached a milestone. Hamlet celebrating 9 years and 50,000 hours of training those who face barriers gain employment. The social enterprise taking on 700 Tasmanian employees so far, teaching front-of-house skills and the secret to making the perfect coffee.
Love. I love coffee, so you know it makes people happy, which is actually true.
We're really here so that we can help them build skills in the tourism and hospitality industry and become more job ready to improve their chances of securing employment.
The cafe will be offering free coffees this Thursday to celebrate. We're using the power of conversation to smash the stigma around mental health and suicide is the mission of one of Tasmania's fastest growing charities. Speak Up, Stay Chatty's flagship event is ready to return with a special focus on the foundation of its important message.
Embracing a chilly challenge for mental health. Speak Up, Stay Chatty kicking off Short Stay for 2025 with launches across the state. This year, returning to its foundation question.
We really want people to focus on why mental health matters.
Participants growing in number by 20 to 25% each year.
We are seeing younger people coming through and actually really engaging in those conversations.
Students at Launceston St Patrick's College eager to get involved.
Short Stay is just a really good way to advocate for these issues without being too blunt.
It's so important to actually have the conversation and to let people know that you can feel these emotions.
Making their voices heard on issues that affect them, such as social media.
You never know what anyone else is going through. You could write a comment and you can never take that back. It's on the internet forever.
The day, a reminder not to lose sight of what makes life enjoyable.
Finding those things that really help you engage your own positive mental health and keep your positive mental health in check.
Showing how a little discomfort can lead to a discussion.
Having those conversations don't need to be those big, deep, sit-down, slow-speaking conversations. You can go and hang out with your mates, do those things that you really enjoy doing.
Short Stay is on June 20.
Brave the cold, brave the conversation.
Tom Crosby, 7 Tasmania News.
Cornelian Bay in Hobart's northern suburbs has been flagged as a potential new swimming spot, with Hobart City Council putting forward a report on ways to restore it. Teaming up with the Derwent Estuary program, the water quality at the bay will be monitored with the goal to return it to a primary recreational and tourist site. The council also says it's writing to the Prime Minister and Peter Dutton asking for funding as part of the upcoming federal election. Kingborough Council says a new supermarket will help meet the demand of its growing population. The turning of the first sod marking the start of construction at the Spring Farm Village site.
There are some people who say that we're overserviced in relation to supermarkets, but the statistics show otherwise, and they show that you need one full-line supermarket for every 8,000 residents.
The construction company commissioned for this project is the same which built Glebe Hill.
It's a little bit bigger. Glebe Hill is 6,000 metres in total. This is going to be a bit over 7,000 metres in size, but very similar.
The centre is expected to open by May next year.
The Jackies lineup could look very different next season as the NBL's free agency period draws near. Majok Dang, Anthony Drimmick, Sean McDonald and Will Magnay are among the players contracted to stay for NBL 26. But imports Jordan Crawford and Milton Doyle are up for grabs alongside names like Fabian Krislovic and Ruben Turangi when the free-for-all kicks off on Friday. Elsewhere, Matthew Dellavedova, Parker Jackson-Cartwright and 5-time league MVP Bryce Cotton are all on the table. The Jackies today having a little April Fool's fun, suggesting that Jack the Jumper could be making a free agency move to the Indiana Mad Ants. NBL 1 administrators have made their decision on how to deal with the untimely end of Saturday night's season opener between Northwest Thunder and Hobart Chargers, with scores separated by a point. Phone torches weren't nearly enough to continue play when a widespread power outage in Ulverston, caused by a possum on a transformer, plunged the stadium into darkness. After discussing with both sides, the game will be ruled a no result, meaning they'll play one less game than every other team. Their latter positions will instead be decided by their win-loss ratios. There was, of course, enough light for a few on-court autographs and selfies afterwards. Penguin will be the team to beat when the NWFL Women's Premier League kicks off this weekend. The reigning Premier is excited to return to the field after a gruelling pre-season. Their grand final rematch with Wynyard will be the first live-streamed match for the competition.
It's going to be a really useful tool for us to go back and rewatch and, sort of refine our game a little bit better from that different perspective.
It's so exciting for those young girls to actually be noticed and to be watched each week by talent scouts. It just opens up doors and opportunities for them.
The gala day will open with Circular Head taking on Ulverston, while Burnie will face Devonport. Two-time Australian Umpire of the Year Sam Nagoski is joining elite company, becoming one of just 4 from around the world on the ICC's emerging panel of umpires. Having officiated 7 Big Bash deciders at T20 World Cup and just run his 7th Shield final, the Tassie ump is now on the perfect path to tick the big one off his bucket list.
That I've never ticked off and can only tick off if I'm in the emerging group or above, and that's to umpire Test cricket.
He'll have to wait until at least next month before he is appointed to any overseas matches. It's a sad farewell to WNCL star Molly Strano as she says goodbye to Tasmania after 4 successful seasons. The 32-year-old, who was a vital part of the Tigers' monumental three-peat, is heading back to Melbourne to be closer to family. The off-spinner says she's leaving with a full heart and great memories.
I've loved my time here. I've been embraced by the organisation, and as I said previously, it's been a huge honour to represent this state.
She's been an absolute superstar on the field and an incredible leader behind the scenes as well.
It's not goodbye altogether though. She's still signed on to play for the Hurricanes next season. Meanwhile, a bittersweet moment for the Tigers men. 3 stars handed Cricket Australia contracts for the 2025-26 season. Nathan Ellis, Matt Kuhneman and Beau Webb still will again likely be out of action for Tasmania for at least part of the summer, named on the 23-man list.
Good evening. Hobart atop of just 16 today. Launceston and Burnie reached 19 while Devonport recorded 20 degrees. Flinders Island and Smithton also hit 20. Low Head, Bushy Park and Strawn 19. King Island 18. St Helens and Friendly Beaches 16 as that cooler windy weather swept over the east and southeast of the state. Low cloud over the east and central regions today, along with patchy cloud spinning in from that low, which is still over the Tasman, but no rain since 9 a.m. Cloud is also evident from our shores all the way up to the eastern seaboard. More cloud resides over a large area from Western Australia through the heart of the nation to southern Queensland. Tomorrow that low remains to our east. Troughs dominate the mainland as a cold front tracks over waters south of the Bight. Our winds tempering just a little as the east-southeasterlies reach 15 knots over the north and east. Variable winds inland and over the west. Hobart 20 tomorrow and partly cloudy. Geeston the same, partly cloudy for Bothwell. 3 overnight, a top of 20 tomorrow. Launceston sunny and 22, 19 for Devonport. Fine for Cressy as well, 21 the maximum. Burnie mostly sunny and 19, 19 for Strawn, partly cloudy for Curry, 21 degrees. St Helens a high of 19, cloudy for Swansea, 19, same sort of conditions for Orford. On to Thursday now and partly cloudy over Launceston and Burnie, possible showers in the east and probable showers over the west and south. Showers on Friday over the west and south initially before extending elsewhere and increasing later in the day. And on Saturday, fresh and gusty westerly winds along with showers statewide, falling as snow above 800 metres. Yes, it's cracking up. Mostly sunny in Perth and Adelaide tomorrow, 23 and fine in Melbourne, partly cloudy in Sydney, rain on the way and 23 in Brisbane. Cloudy and 13 right now in Hobart, partly cloudy in Launceston, 16 currently and 17 right now in Devonport. Kim, I know you're not a big fan of April Fool's Day. I hope your day did recover after midday today. Maybe you can tell the viewers what happened.
All I can say is he got me, well and truly got me. Doesn't happen very often, but down I went. That is all your news for now. We'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us. Good night.